Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash, Barakathom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and the elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you, Akim, out there pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Raya with another video, and I'm going to start it off with an article from activistpost.com titled, Pentagon Admits It Investigates UFOs Through a Secret Program. This is Ezekiel 28 verse 3. Behold, thou art wiser than Daniel. There is no secret that they can hide from thee. And this is speaking to Esau Edom, the so-called white man, that red Hebrew Edomite. And you can give Esau that he searches out all things, and Esau understands that these UFOs are actually the chariots of the Most High. These elites out there especially research the scriptures, and they can see that not only are the men of the Lord out there on the highways and byways waking up Israel, but these chariots, or clouds as they're referred to in the scriptures, are showing up more and more, which is just more of a signal that their kingdom's about to come to an end. That's why Esau's really pushing for internet censorship to get this truth off the internet, and then eventually come after the men of the Lord on the highways and byways to take them off, to try to avert these prophecies from coming to their fulfillment. But it's too late for you, Esau. Everything's already been written. So all you can do now is just enjoy what last little seconds of your kingdom you have left, because these so-called UFOs are about to come and put that concentrated heat on your ass. But this article reads, the Pentagon has admitted that they've been investigating UFOs through a secret government initiative known as the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, which the Defense Department told the New York Post did pursue research and investigation into unidentified aerial phenomena. The DoD says that it shut down the AATIP in 2012. However, spokesman Christopher Sherwood told the Post that the department still investigates potential aircraft sightings. Esau's constantly checking for these chariots. He can see that brothers are doing videos where they're recording chariots showing up on the daily, and also people all around the world using their phones to record chariot sightings. The Department of Defense is always concerned about maintaining positive identification of all aircraft in our operating environment, as well as identifying any foreign capability that may be a threat to the homeland, said Sherwood. The department will continue to investigate through normal procedures reports of unidentified aircraft encountered by U.S. military aviators in order to ensure defense of the homeland and protection against strategic surprise by our nation's adversaries, the chief adversary being Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. This Space Force Trump's been talking about isn't just coming up out of the blue. It's been in the books for quite some time, because Esau knows that Yahushai, whom the world ignorantly calls so-called Jesus Christ, is going to return with those so-called UFOs. Nick Pope, who secretly investigated UFOs for the British government during the 1990s, called the DoD's comments a bombshell revelation. Pope, a former UK defense official turned author, said previous official statements were ambiguous and left the door open to the possibility that AATIP was simply concerned with next-generation aviation threats from aircraft, missiles, and drones, as skeptics claimed. This new admission makes it clear that they really did study what the public would call UFOs, he said. It also shows the British influence, because UAP was the term we used in the Ministry of Defense to get away from the pop culture baggage that came with the term UFO. AATIP's existence was revealed in 2017 when former Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid claimed to have arranged for the program's $22 million in annual funding, and this country's already strapped for cash, so it must be something important for them to allocate $22 million, even though it's much more to a UFO program, something most people would think would be a made-up science fiction. Reid told the New York Times that it was one of the good things I did in my congressional service. The New York Times published the article after the DoD released a 33-second DoD video released by the AATIP featuring an airborne object being chased off the coast of San Diego by 2 Navy jets in 2004. They got a video right here that you brothers can watch if you want to. On Sunday, we reported on an op-ed written by Christopher Mellon in The Hill on the fact that since 2015, dozens of Navy F-18 fighter jets have encountered unidentified aerial phenomena, newspeak, or UAPs, once commonly referred to as UFOs, off the coast of the United States, some not far from the nation's capital. And that reminds me of that scene from Independence Day when that chariot destroyed the White House. That was a very informative movie showing that Esau Edom is as wiser than Daniel. He knows what these chariots are in the scriptures, and he knows that there aren't going to be extraterrestrials coming to destroy the planet. It's going to be Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai and the angels to come and save the elect and put an end to his rulership. But here's another interesting video to show that Esau knows what's going on. This is from RT.com titled, "Watch Out for Space Pirates, Ted Cruz Warns." Senator Ted Cruz wants Congress to approve the formation of a space force tasked with protecting the nation against space pirates. Naturally, the people of Twitter responded in an appropriately dramatic fashion. Don't expect Esau Edom to come out and say, the angels of the Most High, Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai, who is the father of the true children of Israel, which are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, are going to return in chariots to destroy our rulership. Esau's got to be slick about it and talk about space pirates and all other manners of nonsense.
Since the ancient Greeks first put to sea, nations have recognized the necessity of naval forces and maintaining a superior capability to protect waterborne travel and commerce from bad actors. Pirates threaten the open seas, and the same is possible in space.
Esau's shook. Esau's doing anything he can to scramble whatever resources he can to come against Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai and the angels, but it's all for naught. Now I'm going to get into some more precepts. This is Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 15 through 16. Now as I beheld the living creatures, speaking of the angels of the Most High, behold, one will upon the earth by the living creatures with his 4 faces. Those wills referring to the chariots of the Most High, or so-called UFOs. The appearance of the wheels and their work was like unto the color of beryl, and they 4 had one likeness, and their appearance and their works was as it were a wheel in the middle of a wheel. Think about those UFOs you see in movies like Mars Attacks. It looks like a wheel within a wheel, rotating counterclockwise. And also, not only are the chariots referred to as wheels, but they're also referred to as clouds in the scriptures. Because you got to remember that when the prophets saw these things in the past, they wouldn't describe them as UFOs. They would describe them as the best things they could with what they knew at the time, as chariots, which were weapons of war, which the chariots of the Most High are weapons of war, and also clouds, because when you look up in the sky, what do you see? Clouds, where those chariots were hovering at. This is Isaiah 66 and 15. For behold, Yahweh will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger and fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire, to come against Esau Edom and his puny space force and completely eradicate it. This is Isaiah 19 and 1. The burden of Egypt, which the United States of America is spiritual Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11 verse 8. Behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, those chariots, those so-called UFOs, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it, when Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai returns to put this final kibosh on Babylon the Great, the spiritual Egypt, the United States of America. And when we go down to that word melt in the Strongs, it's
Strong's H 4549. Massas. Massas.
Massas, to dissolve, melt, to waste away, to faint, grow fearful, figurative. And this has a double-fold meaning, because when it says the Egyptians' heart shall melt, that heart means their mind, which means their countenance is going to drop. They're going to be very afraid in that day. Their pride is going to faint or grow fearful. And on the other hand, it means it's going to melt away from that concentrated heat, those so-called laser beams from the chariot of the Most High, which is going to hit this place and turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea. You see, it says also to dissolve, melt, molten. And when we go to the Strong's definition, it says to liquefy, figuratively to waste. It's going to be a great, magnificent, and terrifying work that the Most High is going to do on this spiritual Egypt. This is Jeremiah 4:13. Behold, he shall come up as clouds. Again, the chariots. Oh, and what does it say? And his chariots shall be as a whirlwind. His horses are swifter than eagles. Woe unto us, for we are spoiled. Hey. And woe unto you heathens, chiefly Esau, as well as you 2/3 of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans in that day, because if you're an Israelite that isn't of that number and doesn't have that protective covering of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai and doesn't get beamed up in the chariot when it arrives, that's your ass. Psalms 104:3, who layeth the beams of his chambers in the waters, who maketh the clouds his chariot, who walketh upon the wings of the wind. So as you can see, these chariots are all throughout the scriptures, these so-called UFOs. And Esau knows that his time's almost up. I'm sure you brothers have seen this clip of Ronald Reagan speaking in the 80s on an alien threat.
In our obsession with antagonisms of the moment, we often forget how much unites all the members of humanity. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. And yet I ask you, is not an alien force already a...
Everybody getting united by an outside alien force, and that's straight from the scriptures, showing that Esau is wiser than Daniel. I'm going to close it off with 2nd Ezra chapter 13. I'm going to start at verse 6.